Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and just having a good day today so far.
Yes.
The sun's been shining.
Yes.
Little bit too hard.
Yeah, a little too hard. How are your flowers? Because mine are looking like they're not loving this heat so much. They went from like too much rain to like, now they're like, so not all, some of them look great.
My flowers
There's some of them that look like they've taken a hit.
My flowers look really good, but my raised bed with my garden's not, it's awful. Mm-hmm. I have raised beds, and I don't know what to do. And usually I'd do great potatoes, and I don't know if it was just too much water. I mean, everything's like yellow. I mean, my lavender, I do lavender, and I think they're dead. There was way too much water in that. They're dead. My flowers look amazing. My hanging baskets, which I only do a couple, because unless you're on top of that all the time, but I think they're going to die. I think I can't bring them back. But I'll tell you what, if you're not watering twice a day, and I don't have time to do that, it was just too hot for them. I've done it the last couple days, but other than that, I haven't been doing it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that they do well. But I'm worried about that. I can't get it. My cucumbers are growing big, and I am getting the bloom. They get that little flowery thing. And my tomatoes are starting to. But I'm worried about that. I've already pulled my onions. Didn't do. I mean, I already pulled them out. They kind of rotted. I don't know. I'm just pretty upset. I don't know. Usually I do better. Usually I don't live off my garden, but I basically plant that stuff just to watch it grow because it's fun.
Yeah.
But I do like to pull tomatoes off there every once in a while, and cucumbers. I'm really hoping they do okay.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, our garden looks great, except for yellow squash. For some reason this year is just, and we usually have a really great yellow squash crop. It's my favorite vegetable, and it just is not good. I don't know that we're going to get any.
See, I don't know.
I think from all the rain.
Yeah.
But our garden is well drained, and it sits up a little higher than the rest of the yard, and we've always had really a good garden. It's not huge, but it's been but this year the yellow squash,
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm hoping it does. And it's so weird because I did I did onions. I've already pulled them all out. I did broccoli this year because I've been able to grow, broccoli's and it was the weirdest thing. It grew super tall, and and I'm like, what are you doing? I pulled it already. I'm like, that was the weirdest thing. I did cabbage for the first time, and it's beautiful. It's just like you took cabbage and just grew. And I'm like, now what are you doing? It's just like,
what are you gonna do with your cabbage?
Well, I'm probably gonna throw it. It's not doing it. Shouldn't it be like? Oh. It's blue. It's like a flower.
Well, maybe you just need to give it more time.
Yeah, I'm just hanging. Yeah. My potatoes, because I love pulling potatoes, but I'm like, I don't know if I should, because usually they get brown and crispy on top, and then they're done. But they're yellow.
I've never grown potatoes. So
I do great potatoes. That's my favorite thing to grow. But I don't know. I might just pull a couple of those yellow ones and see what they're doing. Yeah. Because usually, as it grows and it gets real, and it gets green, and then it gets brown, and when the greenery starts getting brown, that's when you pull your potatoes because they're ready. I don't know, but I don't show any signs of banana peppers yet. I'm not showing any signs of. I put green peppers. I don't know.
Well, the peppers usually come along a little later for us.
Well, maybe I'm just getting a little antsy.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, I'm just waiting.
And you probably didn't get it planted super early this year because of all the rain. So maybe you're just a few weeks behind.
I feel like I planted way early. I feel like I'm too early.
Oh.
I get pretty antsy.
Yeah, I know.
As soon as Valbert puts them out there, we get excited. That's me and Jack. That's Jack and I's thing. So we get pretty excited about it.
Yeah. Well, I hope nothing happens to our tomatoes. I think so far they're looking great. But and I'm not a big tomato eater. I'm not one that slices it and takes a bite out of it. That's Jason. He loves fresh tomato. I don't even put it on a BLT or anything like that. But boy, do I love fresh salsa.
Oh, and I've never made salsa.
Oh, I make a lot of salsa. So
Is it hard to make?
No.
Isn't there some sort of packet you can get?
Yes, and the packet one is actually. I have a complicated recipe that's really good too. That requires a lot of ingredients and it's good. It is a little more time consuming, and I'm talking fresh salsa, not canned salsa. Which I like canned salsa too, but fresh salsa is my favorite. But the one that I make with the packet, honestly, it just about can't be beat.
Yeah.
If you have a food processor, you just need onion and tomatoes, and you process them and chop them all up, and then you add this packet, and it's amazing. It's the best salsa
That's what
out
they
there.
say. Yeah, that's what. And yeah, that's what I've always heard. That you just So it's literally just tomatoes and onions and that stuff.
I mean, you can doctor it up and add more if you wanted to, but with the packet, you don't need it. You don't need it. It's so good.
Yeah, I love salsa. Salsa is one of my favorite things. If you got chips and salsa, you don't need anything else.
Nope. I could like live on chips and salsa probably.
Yeah, I like it too. But but I'm hoping my flowers come out. I planted. There were some things. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I was thinking. A long time ago, I planted this one thing. I'm like, oh, it's kind of cute, Lord have mercy, it just like spread.
What was it?
It's like this. It didn't even get tall. It's like
a ground cover.
Yeah, stupid. Because it was like I did in this one part, and I don't mind because it's kind of like in front of the fireplace where nothing grows.
Yeah,
like the outside, and I'm okay for it spread there. But then it does never stop.
Oh,
so then Jim and I cut it. I even killed it with weed killer on some things, because I'm like, okay, I want you to stop here. But then it started attacking, and then it started going out into the yard.
Oh gosh!
Every once in a while, I was like, what are you doing over there? I don't know.
Yeah, that maybe wasn't a good thing to plant.
It was not a good thing to plant, just saying. But anyway, but Jim took some, I would kind of killed some of that, and then we pulled out. I'm like, it's got to go. It's like, where my pergola's at, and I got that stuff there. It started wrapping itself around my daylilies. My daylilies are ginormous. They look spectacular. So Jim, I was like, okay, I can't really kill. So we got out there the other day, and by we, I mean Jim. And and he's like, I chop all that up. And then I planted these one things. It's viney, and I said, while you're out there, pull him up too, because that's the same thing. I got confused. I thought it was something else that I planted. But so I had it pulled too. But most of my other stuff is growing really, really well. And then I didn't realize these one things I planted I get at the farmer's market, and boy, it came back, and they're beautiful. They're in the front. They look like daisies, and they're coming back. And so I went and got 2 more, and I did plant those. I planted them. The other day I planted some stuff, some perennials too, because I'm like, well, nothing really grows there. I got some hard spots. Some things I put in there. It's something that may grow perfect there, but then nothing right here. So
yeah,
I'm like, dig on, try something else there. I'm always ripping something up and digging something else different.
Yeah,
but
well, that's the fun of it. That makes it more fun.
Yeah, and I do more perennials, and the stuff that's right there, in the back of the house, like that little weird area right there, like underneath the stairs that you come down by the pool, and that stuff's growing. You haven't been over. You probably since the kids got their license, you probably haven't been over there.
I really haven't. I need to come swim. Yeah, it's good weather. It's good swimming weather.
It is good swimming weather. I was out there the other day. I was out Saturday all day long. I got a little sunburnt because I'm on the fence with suntan lotion. I'm on with sunblock. I don't know. Everybody's talking about how bad that is for you.
Yeah, I called that. I'm just gonna say I called that a long time ago.
So it's like I use my hat, and I. Get under the umbrella and stuff like that. I'm fair skinned, but I get out for a little bit and then get back, and kind of back and forth because I do love the sun. I did get a little bit, but I'm almost thinking that it's probably better to have a little bit of a sunburn. That I'm afraid to use sunblock now.
Well, just be careful with which sunblocks. The ones that are just full of chemicals are.
How do you know what's a good one?
Well, you just got to research it and read the back of the label. I know.
I love to read.
I know you do. I just don't wear sunblock, but I'm not a fair-skinned person. I'm not super tan right now because I really haven't even been outside hardly. But if I was outside for just a day or an afternoon, I would be brown as a biscuit. And you'll see as it gets closer to fall, I do get browner and I stay brown. I don't burn.
I will tan. I mean, I will.
Yeah, you
tan.
have a tan now.
I will tan. I was only out Saturday. I'm not Jim Earlywine tan. Jim is, first of all, Jim is tan all year long.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just got dark skin. He's olive skin. I mean,
he's from, I think there was in his, ancestry some darker skinned people. Almost like Middle East or Spanish or something. I don't know what his lineage is, but there's something there that I think is. I would guess him not to be Irish.
Yeah,
not to be Scottish.
No, he is not. Doesn't have an ounce of that.
Yeah,
he's German. I think, and we found some. I think he's even got American. I think he's got Indian in him.
Yeah, that would.
I think he does because one of the pictures, with Hallie Earlywine, his grandmother. a picture of her grandparents holding her, and I'm pretty sure Jim's got Indian in him. I think he's got American Indian in him because that picture of his great grandfather's like, ooh, that looks like a he
Just
could
a
be
Native American.
Cherokee people. I think he's got it. Yeah, because that dark skin, Max got it, Jack's got it. They brown up, and my dad's Hemp Hills, Irish all the ways. Yeah, I'm sorry, they're Scottish. Hemp Hills are Scottish, not Irish. They're Scottish, but
fair, light eyes.
and the Franklins, my mom's family, Franklin's German. So the boys are. So Max got the German. Yeah, they're German Irish, but boy, Connor's German Scottish. Connor's got the Scottish all the way. When we were in Ireland, of course, Scottish and Irish are kind of pretty close together there. They all look about the same. I'll tell you what, every Irishman looked like Connor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I will. Like I said, I have to work in a tan. I will get a tan, but I won't burn anymore. But I will. I can tan that pretty nice, but I got to work at it. But yeah, Mac and Jack was at football camp, and he had his shirt off, and there was a picture of all the little boys at football camp. Sent me a picture, and there was a picture of all the little boys, and there was a couple little boys of color. And they all had their little shirts off, and it was like I was trying to find Jack, and of course he was right there, and all the other, that was Jack was almost as dark as the little boys, as the little boys of color, and it's like, and Jack he hadn't even started being outside. He'll brown up like
yeah,
he browns up. Joanna didn't get the skin; she will tan, but she didn't get it but Mac and his dad, oh yeah, Jim being out of camp this week,
yeah,
my mom's brother Floyd Franklin. He looked like he was dark. Franklin's always had that good dark skin. I really wish both my boys had the dark skin because it is. But like I said, we have to work at it.
Yeah.
But if it's just, but like I said, I'm just worried about. I don't know. I'm just worried about sunblock. I know Destiny Daniels. She makes homemade sunblock. But when I had that squamous cell cancer, once they start cutting on your face, it's a game changer. I used to be a sun worshiper. I'm an 80s girl. I'm the girl that laid out with a fan, the boom box, baby oil, and iodine. I'm that girl and a spray bottle. So I abused my skin back in the day, but boy, I don't anymore.
Yeah. Do you have an ad for us today?
I do.
Okay. Let's see.
Let me see which one it is today.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, this one.
Coke ads.
Yeah, look at this Coke
to
ad.
cookouts.
Okay, but look at this. Okay, do you remember? Okay, Coke adds life to cookouts. Get this self-contained throwaway outdoor grill. What the heck? Do you remember this? For only $1.79 with purchase of 12-ounce cans. As advertised. I don't ever remember. It says, what's it say on the back there? Lights instantly with a match. No charcoal or starter needed.
I kind of remember something like this. You could buy it. Basically, I think the charcoal was already in there.
Yeah.
And it already had lighter fluid on it. It was like a kit. So you could just take this thing, buy your meat, go to Charlie Brown Park, start a fire, sit that on top of like an open fire.
Yeah.
And then you would grill your meat with the charcoal.
You remember one of these?
Well, I don't know that it's this exact one, but I can kind of, the only thing it's making me think of is when I was a kid, my mom and dad ran Farm Fresh store in Harrisburg, and it was like a mini grocery store. We didn't just sell milk, we sold all kinds of things. I remember something like this there that they sold.
Throwaway outdoor grill only. I think they need to come back because that's pretty cool.
Well, they probably figured out they caused cancer or something.
Well, probably.
Everything
causes cancer.
But I like the headline, Coke adds life to cookouts. There would be cocaine addicts that would take that and make that into something totally different.
Yeah, I didn't go there, Beth, but okay. But yeah, I'm like, holy cow, that's cool. I was like, has anybody else ever heard of that?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was a neat ad. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm like, I never heard of that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, well, let's take a commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to talk about Charley Overstreet and some of his photos of Flora.
Oh, good. I like this book.
We'll be right back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. So today's show, I'm going to talk about a man named Charley Overstreet. Many of us remember him. Some of you may not know about Charley, but he was he held all kinds of offices in Flora.
Oh, yes.
He was what would be a good way to describe him? Just an upstanding, involved citizen
yes.
for many years in Flora. Yeah. And Charley passed away in 2010, but he was born in 1922 here in Flora. His parents were Benjamin and Ines Overstreet, and her maiden name was Clement. And he married Catherine Lewis on July 9th of 1943 in St. Louis, Missouri. They called her Katie. This was 1943, right before World War II. Mm-hmm. Charley went and served in World War II.
Yeah. And
he played a huge role in World War II because he was in a division. He was a corporal, and he was a radio operator in the headquarters battery of the 252nd Field Artillery Battalion. They called that battalion the Bastard Battalion. Isn't that a terrible name for it? But they called it that because basically they were kind of a gopher battalion. So if there was another battalion that was short people and they needed extras, then they sent this battalion. Or maybe then a few weeks later it might be another battalion. They were like backup for all the other ones.
Really?
So they would get attached to other units, and just whoever needed them most at the time is who they got attached to.
Huh.
But he saw all kinds of action throughout the war. But early on, his commanding officer discovered that Charley liked to take pictures.
Oh, yeah, he did.
And he had a 35 millimeter camera, and he was made the battalion photographer. So his legacy includes over 1,000 wartime pictures. There's actually a collection of his photography that is called the Charles Overstreet Collection. It's been shown. You can Google it. It comes up as an entire thing. It is like amazing World War II photography, which I'm going to share a little bit later in the show. Some of it, I'm not going to share all of it. Some of them is graphic. And so I'm not going to share that. But I will say that Charley walked across Europe and walked through Germany and took amazing pictures throughout. So that part of his life was fascinating. But also what he did here in Flora was he was a U.S. postal employee for over 30 years. And he was a member of pretty much everything. He was the area photographer, which we're going to talk a lot about. He was a mayor, finance committee member, past and present, past commander of the Flora American Legion Post, number 14. He was a member of the Flora VFW Post. He was past president of Flora Kiwanis. He was in the Masonic Lodge. He was this might be part of the Masons, Belleville Consistory and Ionide Temple. He was a member of the Shriners Club. He was a member of the Rotary Club. He was a member of the Clay County Fair Board. He was exalted ruler at the Flora Elks Lodge. He was a lifelong member of the Flora First United Methodist Church, and was a member of the Barbed Wire Choir. So we have talked about
the Barbed Wire Choir.
We had an entire episode about this Is We Is. You can go back on our YouTube page, just type in Beth and Stacey on YouTube. You can see all of our past episodes. Look for the one that's called Is We Is. That one talks about the Barbed Wire Choir and how in the 80s, Flora was desperately trying to get a prison built in Flora because we needed the jobs. And so a group of Flora citizens, Charley Overstreet was one of them, became the Barbed Wire Choir, and they made a song called Is We Is or Is We Isn't Gonna Get Ourselves a Prison. And it had a video. It went viral. And they were on Good Morning America and The Tonight Show. And Charley went and sat with Joan Rivers on The Tonight Show. Like, he was such an interesting man.
He played Boss Hogg.
He played Boss Hogg. So I think I don't know if you can find the pictures of Is We Is. Ty, do I have one of him in the Is We Is cover? I know. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So this is him. This is from the Is We Is cover of the album. And this is Willie Thompson there on his left. Of course, that's Charley in the middle, dressed as Boss Hogg, and then Meatball Zimmerman over there on the right in the prisoner uniform.
Meatballs.
That's what they called him. I can't remember his real name.
I can't either because they only called him Meatball.
Yeah. So anyway, this is We Is. That's Charley. In his later years, of course, not his real late years, but still, he was aged here. He had been around a while. He was mayor at the time, and this was in the 1980s, 1987, I believe so.
Are they all passed?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, okay. So he took so many pictures of Flora, and there's actually this book. It's available at the Flora Library.
There's two of them, actually.
Charley's Flora. You can also access all of his wartime Charley Overstreet collection of World War II photos there. But we're going to start with some of the photos that are in this book about Flora, because they are photos that he either took himself or ones that he collected that were before his time. So there are some photos in this book that are before his time. And a lot of the photos in this book we've already covered on other episodes. So the only ones I pulled were ones that I don't remember seeing before or having used on another episode. So let's look at this one here. This is the First National Bank building, downtown Flora. This, I should have marked my pages.
You sent in a bunch of pictures and forgot to mark your pages.
Well, I thought I had it in my head, Stacey.
I would never trust my head.
Anyway, so it won't be hard to find.
It would be for me because I'm nuts.
Yeah, here's the banking section.
That's a neat.
So
building.
Okay, so this is circa 1900. This is how the building appeared after it was given a facelift around the turn of the century. So apparently it had been there even, right before that. It kind of had a different look. Pictured in the front are, left to right, President H.F. Pixley, Robert Graham, Martha Hayward, and cashier C.E. Hemphill. Related to you?
Distantly, yes.
This building was the remodeled version of the original bank building and was occupied by the bank until it was torn down and replaced in 1917. So the same year that the depot was built in 1917, they tore down this bank building on the corner, and then they built the building that we now know.
Why I want that building back.
And this time it was the First National Bank. Ty, did I just send in another picture of the bank on the corner?
I don't think so. I do have another building that doesn't look like the bank.
Okay. What do you got? Yeah, that's it. That's the bank. He didn't think it was the same one because it looks so
look
different.
at the Daleman Shoe Company store.
Yes, so the Dale Mann and Company shoe store was right there. You can see the Masonic Temple. That part of the building is
That's
the
still
same.
there.
If you drive by today, that part of the building is the same. But what's different is the bank portion over there on the left-hand corner. First of all, look, it has a little balcony at the top. The people with the bunting on it, and people could walk out onto that balcony. So that's super cool. And the words First National Bank are carved into the top of that building. Right now, I'm fairly certain that's all been bricked over. So the bank portion is now, it's like a red brick building. So whatever that building was made of, they didn't tear that down. They just bricked over it. Probably your dad. He bricked over it.
Probably my dad, yes.
And where it says First National Bank, like that's gone. Right now, that's just all brick, and then it has white trim around all the windows and around the top of the building.
Yeah, that would be cool if we still had that.
It's still a little bit shorter than the Masonic Temple building to its side, but the whole Dale Mann and Company shoe store, that whole area is also that red brick. So the only part that they left that stone was the top part, the Masonic Temple, which I'm wondering if the Masons, whenever it came time to brick that building, they were like, you're not doing our portion.
No.
You're not going to cover up our wording. You can do whatever to the bank if they agree, but you're not covering up ours. And then that would explain why, 3/4 of that building is red brick, and yet the Masonic Temple is still the original stone. I personally wish they would have left it the way it is.
Me
It
too.
was in this picture, because I think that's
so neat.
yeah.
I really wish they'd just leave everything alone.
I know, but they don't.
Leave it alone.
They
leave
don't.
it alone.
Everything has to change.
It doesn't.
I know that it doesn't, but everybody.
Except your hair. Your hair can change. all the
Your
time.
hair, sure, change your hair.
Yeah.
And your nails.
And your nails. Everything else, leave alone.
Gotta go. Okay.
That's really cool.
Okay, so let's see, what else did I send in? Yes, so let's talk about this.
I love that one.
The water tower.
The water
this
tower.
water tower
Oh, that
stood.
sits right where because I see the Vaughn's building. That would be right where City Hall's at. That would be right by where Four Sisters would have been.
Yeah, I think it's sitting where the war memorial is.
Yeah.
In the yard at the library. That's kind of where I think that this water
because
tower.
You can see the Vaughn's building.
Now,
right behind
surely
it.
you remember this water tower, because
I do remember this water
I
tower.
don't think it was torn down until like 1998. I think it said.
I remember it.
Personally, I don't. I question that 1998 date.
It was
And
gone before 98.
I think it was gone. I graduated high school in 97.
No, it wasn't there in 98.
I can remember it when I was a kid in the 80s, but I do
No, it was
not
gone before then.
remember it in 1998 sitting there.
It was not around when Mac and Connor were alive. Mac was born in 91.
Okay, so funny story about water towers. I may have told it before, but I'll tell it again. When Silas was young, like age 2, he was obsessed with water towers. And it's honestly, I'm surprised more kids aren't obsessed with water towers, because they do stick up high. And when you're traveling, you have a kid in the car and you want them to not be on a screen all the time and look around. They see the water towers. That's what they see first in the town. And so he'd be like, oh, there's a water tower. Well, me, I narrate everything. So yes, that's a water tower. Oh, that's an old one. That one looks like it's been there a while. Oh, this one's round. This one's we would talk about the features of water towers, which then turned into a slight obsession about water towers, which he wanted to read books about water towers when we went to the library. Well, guess what, folks? There weren't any. There were no books written about water towers, except one that I ordered off of Amazon about water towers in New York City on top of buildings, and we read that many times. And then I actually ended up writing my own children's book for him about water towers, which was fantastic, let me tell you, although it was never published. Yeah, can you believe it? Never published. And there's a need for this in the world, but whatever. So one thing that Silas would always say about water towers was either that's the old style or that's the new style. So this particular water tower in that picture, that's the old style.
That's an old style.
That's the old style. Now, the new style obviously would be ones like we currently have. That's the new style. But we still, even today when we travel, course, he's not obsessed with that at all, and he's 13 years old, so he'd probably be super embarrassed that I'm even telling that story. But it was a cute little boy thing. You know, some boys get really into trains or dinosaurs or whatever, and he was water towers. But we still talk about them some, and occasionally you still see this style when you drive through old towns. But it said that this photo was taken in 1998, is what it says.
No, it's not.
I don't think so. And
Look at the car down
I
below.
know. I'm looking at the cars,
no.
and I'm like, well, I guess it's
No.
possible there's still a car from the 1970s
No.
there. But all of the cars in the photo look much older than 1998.
It wasn't around in 98,
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Nope, I don't think so either. So I think that might be a typo in the book. But
We probably need to take a commercial
Oh,
break.
okay. We'll take a break, and we will be right back.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank.
We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online banking, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be. Clay County State Bank.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County, Farmers Mutual Insurance.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. So today I'm talking about Charley Overstreet and so many of his photographs of Flora and all of the things that he took pictures of and kind of reflecting on back on Charley's Flora, which is the title of this book, which is actually an autographed copy
You got an autograph copy?
that I got at a yard sale.
Well,
There's his
that's
see
no
it?
fair.
Yeah, how cool is that? Okay. So let's see. What's the next picture, Ty? Oh, another. Okay, yeah. So this is another view of the water
that's
tower.
neat.
This one's from an old postcard, and it's. I think down there at the bottom, it's so shaded in this picture, but the Carnegie Library was at the bottom of the picture, with the water tower in the background. Okay, let's see what else you got, Ty. Okay, so this is Leslie Etchison. And this painting was actually painted by Charley Overstreet.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yes. And so Charley not only was a photographer, he was pretty artsy because he drew and he sketched and he painted and he did all kinds of things like that. So this Leslie Etchison was... this photo, he was a soldier who was killed in World War II.
World War II.
And he was a Flora boy. And, of course, I can't find the information on that one. But anyway, Charley painted that picture. It hung for years at the Clay County Courthouse in Louisville. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure
Where is it at now?
It could still be there, but I'm not sure. And maybe it's at the library, but I feel like I've seen it.
Is it?
Like-
It's either at the library. Is it at the hospital? Because there's a lot of old pictures at the hospital.
Yeah, no, I don't
It's not at the depot.
I don't think it's the hospital.
I don't
And
think
I
it's at
don't-
the depot either.
Maybe it's still at the courthouse because
I
why
bet it
why
is.
would they move
Why
it?
would they move it?
But I also feel like it could really be at the library.
Yeah, it might still be at the library. I didn't realize he painted that.
Yeah, and then I have a picture of him that is framed. Yeah, there we go.
There's Charley.
That picture of him, I believe, is framed and is next to the painting of Etchison at the courthouse.
Yeah, that book has
So-
got so many. It's so detailed. The book is.
Yeah.
He actually made 2 of
Here we
those
go.
books.
Yeah, he painted this picture in 1949. Etchison died on the battleship Arizona on Sunday, December 7th, 1941. That was at Pearl Harbor. And it hangs in the entrance of the courthouse. So just, 8 years after after Leslie had passed away, Charley painted that picture. He also would send home to his friends when he was in World War II. He would sometimes just not really know what to say in words, so he would draw them cartoons and send them home. Like really cute drawings. Like he's very talented.
I didn't realize how. I didn't realize how talented he actually was.
Yeah. So let's see another picture.
Oh, I like
Okay.
this picture.
Yeah. So what is interesting about this one? This is downtown Flora, Main Street, 1941. This would be right outside of the bank building, between that and the old City Hall building, which is the brewery. The building across the street, you could see where Two Glitzy Girls would be now, and Phil Wiley Real Estate. What strikes you as so interesting about this picture? Because I picked up on it right away. Something is different. What is it?
Something is different.
Yep, than how it is now. The buildings are the same.
Well, first of all, the way we park.
Oh, there it is. That's it.
I wish we still parked like that.
Yes, like they are parked at an angle. I'm a little confused about how they made this happen. With the sidewalks do not look any narrower
No.
than they are now.
No, the sidewalks are the same.
And
I don't know why. Somebody said that. I'm like, why don't we still park at an angle? Only it's like, well, we don't have one-way streets. It's like, well, we never had one-way streets before we parked at an angle. And they're like, well, vehicles are bigger than we have trucks now. It's like those cars that we drove back then were huge.
yeah, they were
And
tanks.
there's way more room.
I know right now, like that part of the road has a turn lane, and then maybe it didn't then.
Maybe
So-
that's what caused all the fuss was turn lanes.
Maybe. I don't know, but it's
Or
just-
semis.
Yeah,
Would semis change everything?
I don't know, but I just wish that parking could be a thing again.
Yeah, 'cause parking
I think more
downtown's
people.
awful.
Yeah, it would allow more parking downtown for one thing, and it would be easier on people.
It definitely would be easier on people.
Yeah, so that was an interesting picture there on Main Street. Okay, let's see what
I
else we
like
got.
that picture. Oh, what's
Okay,
this one?
so this one, we've talked about the popcorn stand. This is an
Oh,
actual
yeah.
picture of the popcorn stand. So on past episodes, we've mentioned
yeah.
the popcorn stand. There was a lady that sold popcorn.
The German lady.
The German lady that carried it back and forth. Eventually, she had a little stand. This kind of goes over. There was a man named Bill Musgrave that gave this picture to Charley. And he worked at the popcorn stand his junior year of school. It would have been 1940. The people in this photo are named Betty Blankenship, Byron Day, and Wilma Cook. The popcorn stand was at the corner of East North Avenue and North Locust. So that would be like where the Chinese restaurant is. It would either be, I don't know which side of the street it was on. It was either it
there's
looks
the
like
Scudamore
Scudamore.
board, yeah.
So that sits where the Scudamore building set where like Clay Medical is, that big parking lot now. So it looks like this is probably right on the corner in front of the Chinese restaurant.
I would say I would say
Okay.
so.
He worked his tail off there. He worked 60 hours a week. Prices for items sold were cigarettes were 10 cents and 15 cents a pack. Chewing gum was a nickel a pack. Candy bars were a nickel each. Popcorn was a nickel, 10 cents, or 25 cents, depending on the size of the sack you bought. Roasted peanuts were 10 cents a sack. And
Wow.
he said one Saturday night he sold $25 worth of merchandise. And
Wow.
boy, was he pooped. He said, I never worked so hard in my life selling items for a nickel at a time. My pay was $5 a week for approximately 60 hours. Needless to say, 1 year of that type of employment was enough. And he never found out what happened to the popcorn stand. But we've mentioned that on other episodes. The popcorn lady, the
that was
popcorn
fun.
stand.
I love the fact that that's such a good. That's a great picture.
Yeah, I like that one. Old Flora, 1940. Pretty cute. Those
That
girls are
is-
pretty cute,
that's-
too. They're having fun.
Look how cute they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what other ones did I send in, Ty? Okay, so now we're to World War II. This is actually a picture of Charlie, and he is amongst rubble of in Germany of a town that had been heavily shelled, and he spent, I think, an entire winter there. And the building that these soldiers were staying in was one of the very few that were not so heavily shelled. And they helped the people that were in the town. And there was a bunch of Army engineers that they all stayed in the same building. But yeah, it looks like he has a shovel or something there. It's a little blurry, but you can see that the building around him has just really been blasted. Okay, let's see what else we sent in. Okay, well, this is just the standard Charlie
There he
picture.
is.
This is him. This
It looks
is
like his mayoral picture.
yeah, the one for the mayor. Yeah, this is the same one on the cover. Well, is it similar? I don't think it's the exact one. It might be. I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say.
On the cover of the book, but this is how I remember him. And he still has descendants. He has grandkids, kids and grandkids in the area. Liz Holman, this is her grandpa.
I didn't know that.
Yep. And her sister and her mom was. So I can get into that.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize
let's
that.
talk about his family for a minute. I just
didn't know that.
accidentally scrolled through about 5 million pictures.
Huh.
I don't even know how I did that. But yeah, so
I didn't realize that.
so after he came back from the war, so him and Katie had gotten married right before the war, and whenever he came back, I think they had a child then. So he had 2 kids, a son, Patrick Overstreet of Athens, Georgia. This is listed from his obituary in 2010. So I don't know if Patrick still lives there. I'm not sure. And Nikki Lake and her husband, Tom, of Flora. And so Nikki Lake, I believe, is Liz's mom.
Yeah, Nikki is.
Yeah.
Mom, yeah.
And then he had a sister, Dorothy, in Michigan. But he had 3 grandchildren at the time of his death: Liz Holman and her husband Aaron, Erin McGrew and her husband Cody, and then Jordan Lake. And then he has, great grandchildren as well. But yeah, so many of you may know Nikki, or you may know Liz or Aaron, and Charlie was their grandpa. So, what a cool story for them
It
to
is
have
neat.
this grandpa that did so many things.
Do we need to take a commercial break?
Okay, we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Peggle's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Peggle Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
Give me order lumber. Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, give me all your guns too.
John Lucas,
What?
you better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Today we're talking about Charley Overstreet, a Flora, Illinois former citizen who was super involved in everything Flora related and held offices in Flora. He also served in World War II and was a World War II photographer. And his photos are still considered one of the best, like, looking into World War II. Like, he was there. And he was the battalion photographer. If you Google the Charles Overstreet collection, World War II photos, it comes up. It's a legit thing that's in libraries and stuff. So, in the archives. So, okay. So, I'm going to share some of his photos from the archives. Let's see. This he took in Germany. This is a castle, the Grimm, where all of the Grimm fairy tales were written. He I don't remember if he stayed there or if he was just passing through, but so he didn't only take pictures of soldiers and the war and what was going on, but he took pictures of buildings and the surroundings and how Europe looked at the time. And this is the building that Grimm's fairy tales were written in.
Wow.
In Germany. Kind of cool.
Oh, wow, that's neat.
Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, this is Charley, and this picture here was taken went during his training at Camp McCoy in Wisconsin in 1943. He was a T5 technician and battalion photographer of the headquarters battery radio unit. Here he is holding a movie camera. And what's interesting about this picture, it says, is to note the World War I leggings of his uniform. His unit was not issued actual boots until they were shipped overseas. The original photograph size of this was 8 inches by 5 inches. So this is just one little tiny photograph. They all printed out very small. But yeah, see how he has like kind of leggings on and these old-fashioned pants? They weren't actually issued their boots and their everything, like their entire uniform, until they actually left and went overseas. So they probably just didn't have enough. I don't know. So, yeah, but look how young he is. He looks like a little boy.
I was going to say, yeah, isn't that nuts?
Yeah. Okay.
It's interesting because I only knew him as an older man, so it's crazy when you see the young pictures.
Yeah.
You don't think of them as ever being young.
Right. Everybody was at some point.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so here he is. This is taken in Etteren, Germany in 1945. This unit that he was in spent the winter in one of the only remaining sound buildings in the heavily shelled town. It shows Corporal Overstreet sitting in the hole made by a dud shell that hit the building next to the one where his unit slept at night. This building was occupied by some Army engineers at the time it was hit. The original photograph size of this one was 2.36 inches by 3.61 inches. So these were little tiny pictures that he printed out. But yeah, so that building was full of Army engineers. It was shelled while they were in the building. Charley was next door, and this is the picture that he took in the hole. Can you even imagine how scary that would have been?
No.
To hear the shelling, and it didn't hit your building, but it hit the one next door where all your friends were?
No, I can't. I can't fathom war at all.
Me either. Okay. Let's see what other ones we've got.
Oh, my.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
That is gorgeous.
So this, let me find the right information here. This one is in Heidelberg, Germany. And this is one of the photos that Charley took of Heidelberg Castle. The original size of this one was 3.72 inches by 2.60 inches.
I've been to Heidelberg.
Okay. Did you see a castle?
Yeah, I've seen several castles. I'd have to go back to my pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jim and I went to Germany. Germany's a beautiful country. Yeah, I've been to Heidelberg.
Yeah, I'd love to see this in color.
Yeah, it is gorgeous.
Okay. Okay, so this picture, this is something I didn't even really know about. So this is in Berlin, and his unit had been marching across Germany in the attempt to reach and capture Berlin. Okay, this is at the very end of the war. Their U.S. soldiers are already in Germany. They're being greeted. It's very close to the end. They still have to take Berlin. This is a photograph of slave laborers in Germany. The Nazis would bring people from the countries that they invaded to be used as slave labor. As Allied forces marched across Germany, these people were liberated and were always very happy to see U.S. troops. This original photograph size was 2.5 inches by 3.75 inches. So I did not know the war story about invaded countries brought people over to use as slave labor. So like they invaded Poland, they invaded so much of Europe. And I guess if you were Jewish, you were sent to the concentration camps. But if you weren't, they still took you as slave labor. Mm-hmm. So these people are, also being liberated.
Yeah. Yeah, see, people, well, that's a whole other topic, but yeah. Every race has been a slave. I mean, It doesn't matter what color you are. Everybody's been a slave.
Yeah.
Hitler was not a good guy.
No, not at all.
Not a good guy. Bad person.
Yes. Okay, so let's go to the next one. This is a USO dance.
Oh, that's neat.
And, I've seen USO dances in the movies, and they always seem so romantic and like such a highlight for all the soldiers and the women that were there in the USO and back home, and the men got to come home to visit, and I don't know. I thought this was a neat picture. This was actually during his training at Camp McCoy in Wisconsin in 1943. It's a U.S. dance at the PX at Camp McCoy. Original photograph size 2.13 inches by 2.33 inches. Little bitty tiny ones.
That's weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That is a really cool picture.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen it. Like I said, it's just like the movies. I don't know if I've ever seen a real picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pretty neat. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. So this one is, again, when he was marching across Germany on his way to capture Berlin. He took pictures along the way. And he took lots of pictures of the German landscape and architecture while he was there. It's not listed exactly what this is, but just part of a German street that he marched down. Mm. But look at that architecture and the curvature of the street and how the buildings wrap around. I mean, isn't that just beautiful? I mean, I know it's wartime and it's a sad time for this country, but their architecture that withstood all of that, how pretty. And all the balconies on the buildings, and I don't know.
When you talk about European countries, like everybody's always talking, Italy.
Uh-huh.
Italy. I'm telling you what, Germany is spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
The countryside of Germany is beautiful.
Yeah. Ty, was that the last one?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the last one I shared. But I do want to say, there are over 1,000 of these photos from World War II that Charley took. They're all available at the Flora Public Library. You can also access many of them online. They're worth looking at. There's a lot of them that are very graphic and sad. And, of course, I didn't share those here. It gives me goosebumps just to even think about them because I did browse through some of them last night. And
you found them online? How'd you find them online?
I just Googled Charles Overstreet, World War II photographer, and they come up.
I'm surprised he didn't make since he took so much, I'm surprised he didn't make a book about that. Because he made these 2 books about Flora.
Yeah.
I wonder why he didn't make a specific war book of photos.
I feel like Flora Library might have one that's kind of been put together in a book. I might have looked through it one time, but it may have been. I'll have to ask Liz. Did he talk about this? I mean, some soldiers did. It was therapy for them to talk about it. So others didn't.
Some didn't.
But I mean, he did have all of his photographs. Maybe. I mean, the things that he saw, I know he was smiling in a lot of those pictures, but he really he saw some things, and there was one instance where there was a massacre, and he was told to photograph it. This is evidence against what Hitler is doing, and there were a bunch of prisoners of war. It was the end of the war. Hitler knew he was doomed, and instead of setting all these prisoners of war free, I think there was thousands of them, he burned them alive. And anyone that tried to escape the building that was on fire full of people, he shot them.
Yeah.
And then Charley had to take pictures of all that.
Yeah.
And it's heavy and it's a lot and it's sad but
it's real.
You know, it's real stuff. And he lived through it and he came home and what a life he lived. I mean, he just had an incredible life and an incredible family that loved him dearly, and he was involved. And I always remember him as a happy, smiling person.
Oh, he's a very friendly man, very nice man.
Yeah. So anyway, Flora.
South Ender.
Flora was
Just saying.
Okay.
South Ender lived on Flora Avenue.
Okay. Well, Flora was lucky to have him as long as they did, and it's a treasure to have all these photographs of Flora that he took and photographs that he collected of Flora, and who knows, we may hit on him again. I might have to look for a second book.
We barely just touched on Charley. Yeah, he would make he would definitely make a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, good story.
Yeah. Good man.
Yep.
Yeah,
guy.
those are fun.
Yeah.
It's good to talk about that stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those pictures of those books, if you haven't got the books, they're awesome.
Yeah, and they're for sale at the Flora lot. You can buy a copy, I believe. At least you used to be able to.
I don't remember where I got mine. I've got both of them. I don't remember where I got them.
I think that they are in the reference section that you can't check out when you go if you just wanted to look at it while you were in the library. But I think they have copies that you could buy.
I wonder if I bought mine at the Genealogical Society. Would I bought it there?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I buy every time we go up there, I usually buy a book because I like to have all that information in hand.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, okay. Well, let's end this show with something funny.
Let's do that.
What do you have?
Well,
here's your sign.
Here's your sign.
Okay, we're working our way through. Here's your sign.
We're working our way through. Here's your
Billingville.
sign. Oh my gosh, she's so silly. Let's see. I guess that's a page. This is perfect for today. I was watering the yard the other day and a kid asked, "Hey, mister, are you watering the grass?" I said, "No, I'm flushing out the hose."
Alrighty then. That works.
Oh yeah, I got time for one more. One winter it was really cold and we were driving through a hailstorm. My wife asked, "Is that hail?" I said, "Nope, those are very little ping pong balls."
Oh, funny. Kind of strange though, like to have a hailstorm if it was very cold.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like sleet.
It was sleet. Bill Engvall doesn't know he's sleet.
Nah, he needs a sign.
He don't know his hail from his sleet.
He needs his little sign. I'm stupid.
I'm stupid.
Bill, if you're watching, I really
We're
don't
sorry.
think you're I'm sorry.
We're sorry.
Well, anyway, thanks for joining us. As always, you can find us on Wabash Channel 100, Catch TV, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. And then again at 3 p.m. Our new episodes air on Thursdays and Fridays. And you can find all of our episodes on YouTube. Just type in Beth and Stacey and our page will come up. And if you click on the link that says live or the link that says videos, either one, you can find our episodes there. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining us.
God bless you and have a great day.